a Jesuit brother can often go to the places that priests aren't necessarily welcomed or aren't necessarily invited or aren't necessarily comfortable. What has been some gifts of being a Jesuit brother?
Every Jesuit's called to accompaniment, but I think we're called to accompany people in a little bit different of a way. And sometimes just in the terminology, some people relate to priests like a father, and oftentimes that has maybe more of a vertical kind of aspect to it. Whereas I think people often think of a brother as more of a horizontal relationship. And people sometimes just, when they hear priest, there's just a different experience in their mind. Sometimes a blockage, honestly, but other times but a brother maybe, we're technically lay religious. Is that the term? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like some people are like, oh, I'm a lay person too. But it's a style of accompaniment that feels right to me, who I already was and how I already related to people and want to relate to people. And maybe another thing we could talk about is there's kind of a new paradigm of what it means to be a Jesuit brother.
There's a lot more flexibility in being a brother today than it is to be a Jesuit priest. Like I'm working right now on a master's of nonprofit business. And I think that opens up different doors and different possibilities and choosing kind of your own career path as a brother, right? Of finding how do we want to bring God and recognize that God is active in the world, not just in the sacramental life, but also in a classroom, in a business setting, in wherever else. I think it's exciting to see the possibilities.
And I think the Jesuit brother, probably like most religious brothers, we can often work as a bridge because we are lay religious, and so we straddle both worlds, and so we can help communicate things that are confusing about religious life or the priests and how they live.
Yeah, I like that bridge example because I think a Jesuit brother can often go to the places that priests aren't necessarily welcomed or aren't necessarily invited or aren't necessarily comfortable. Those parts right outside of the church. And not saying that a priest wouldn't go there or couldn't go there or shouldn't go there, but I think often the people who are there have a bit of a wall up that, as a Jesuit brother, that wall I've noticed tends to come down. And being able to be present to people who are on the outside of the church or on the margins of the church and say you're just as much a part of the body of the Christ as everyone else, to me is a real gift of this vocation.